What's up, guys? Lucky Locks here. Welcome back to another prediction video. This is going to be for LFA 170, taking place in Vail, Colorado from the Dobson Arena this Friday. And this is a strong offering from LFA here, perhaps the best mixed martial arts event going down this weekend with respect to some others, with UFC not having an event this weekend. So I'm expecting there to be more eyes than usual on this card, and I think that LFA is going to deliver with some good fights on Friday. So with that out of the way, let's get right into the first fight on the main card. So Tapology is actually listing this as a prelim. I'm pretty sure this is going to be on the main card, though. I guess we'll see who ends up being right. We got Gonzalez versus Burkholder here, and the first thing that's going to stick out to you is that it says Gonzalez is 6 feet. At flyweight, that is not true. He was listed at 5'7" on Fury FC in his last fight, so I'm thinking that's a little bit more accurate than the 6 foot figure we have here. He's 2-1 as a pro with 2 finishes. None of his pro fights have gone the distance, win or lose. And, he's an okay fighter. He's decent. Burkholder on the other side is a D3 wrestler, former D3 wrestler from Ohio, had a lot of success collegiately. He's now training at Jackson Wink in New Mexico. I believe he is working very closely with Aaron Pico. I've seen him with Carlos Condit as well. He is a 4-1 pro with 3 finishes. He took his first loss of his pro career in his last fight against Josiah Reyes on LFA. Tough matchup. Reyes is a pretty good fighter. He's looking to bounce back here, Burkholder is, and he is going to be the shorter fighter. I'm sure he'll have the shorter reach as well, but that's nothing new for him. He's been dealing with that in pretty much all of his fights. He's a guy that's in very good physical shape. He's very strong, and I do believe that he's getting a step down in competition here. I think that he's going to be the better fighter on Friday. I know the line is probably pretty blown out here, so not interested in betting it, but I am going to pick Burkholder to get the win in this fight. Next fight, we have Nayra Rep and Shannon Clark. Rep's going to be the one fighting out of Colorado here via Bosnia, but she will have the home field advantage here. I think probably will have some fans in attendance. She is 2-0 in her pro career with 2 knockouts, both of them coming on LFA. She was an amateur champion in the state of Washington, and it looks like she's been getting work at Factory X. I've seen her with Chris Gutierrez, and there's a lot of good gyms in Colorado. That's the Denver area is definitely a good place to be if you are training mixed martial arts. Clark, on the other hand, is a 3-0 prospect from, I believe, Alberta. She's Canadian. She is 3-0 with 3 finishes. She is the Rumble in the Cage 125-pound champ, and she has been at bigger weight classes in the past, right? She's fought at 135. I know as an amateur she fought at 145. I think she's been at like a catch weight of 140 before as well, and she definitely looks like she could be a bantamweight or a featherweight. She has a great physique, and she's very athletic, and I actually really love the fact that she's gotten the weight dialed in for 125 now. I think that she has a lot of athletic upside at this weight class. I think that having her size and physicality at this weight will be a big help for her in her career going forward. The issue that I'm having is I'm not sure that she's there just yet from a technical standpoint. I think that Nayra Rep is probably the more polished striker here for sure. I think, physicality can definitely play a big factor in these types of fights, but I'm going to be siding with Rep in this fight. I think that she's just the more developed MMA fighter at this point, and I can see her finding a way to win, but Clark definitely could make it interesting with that physicality, and I actually think she has a good amount of upside going forward in her career. So, good fight here, 2 good prospects at women's flyweight. Next fight up, we have Caio Machado, not the heavyweight that we saw in the Contender Series. Different guy, coming up against Ilya Arbak TR here. And Machado is a very experienced fighter from Brazil. He is featured on a number of LFA Brazil cards. He is 16-8 with a lot of experience coming into this fight. Pretty much all of his losses have come against solid names that you recognize. Guys like Thomas Almeida, Steven Peterson, Miles Johns, Nate Maness, Jonas Bellarino was his last fight. Solid striking in this Machado guy, and pretty decent takedown defense fundamentals as well. He has 12 finishes and 16 wins, so he's pretty dangerous. He's going to be fighting against Ilya Arbak TR, who is a very good prospect out of Kyrgyzstan, now living in Chicago, I believe. I know he's getting some training at VFS Academy, and he's 21 or 22 years old right now, something like that. He's still very young. He's a master of sport in hand-to-hand combat, and he's had some extensive amateur experience with a lot of success as well. And he picked up a nice win in Brave in his last fight, a win over Al-Qatani by split decision, and that's a pretty decent win, pretty decent name value there. I think he's deserves to be the favorite. I definitely would give him greater than 50% chance to win here, but I'm not sure about minus 200. I wasn't really blown away by the tape, to be honest with you. He definitely does have all the potential here to come in looking better than he ever has, right? He's still very young. He's going to be making big improvements. So, like I said, I agree with him being the favorite. I just don't know if I agree with it to this degree. I think that Machado has the better striking, and I think he can provide at least some resistance in the grappling to make some of those exchanges competitive here. So I think I'm going to side with Machado here. I'm probably not going to back that with any money, but I just think the line could be a little bit wide in this one. So not a really strong feeling, but I'm going to side with the underdog here. Featured bout, we have a great fight between AJ Robb and Isaac Thompson. AJ Robb is a Colorado prospect, the hometown guy in this fight. I've seen him getting some training in with Patchy Mix at a Stream Couture in Las Vegas. 6-2 with losses to Mario Batista and Hunter Azure, so really no shame in those at all. Two very solid fighters. He's got 5 finishes out of his 6 wins, so he's a dangerous guy. He has, however, fought the majority of his career at 135, and now he's going to be up at 145 here with a big featherweight in Isaac Thompson. You know, Thompson's 5'11 at 145. He's pretty big for the weight class. He was an Australian champion in K1, karate, and jiu-jitsu, and he's 21 years old, training at Team Alpha Male right now. Seen him with guys like Mike Mallet, Mason Jones, Clay Guida, Chris Holsworth, Ricardo Hamosh over the years. Just by, a quick sweep of the Instagram, you can see that the kid is keeping good company. He's 5-1 right now on a 3-fight win streak, 4 knockouts out of those 5 wins. But he was finished himself in his 1 loss, so he's definitely going to have to be careful with AJ Robb here because he is dangerous. I do think that Thompson is going to have what it takes to win here. I think that he's going to have the size and length to kind of be able to impose his game on the outside. Obviously, Robb has the ability to get inside and create chaos in this matchup. And, I'd be very careful about laying minus 400 on Isaac Thompson in this one just because he is really young. And he's coming in against a dangerous guy with decent experience, right? So I think it's going to be a tough matchup. I think he's going to be tested, but I am going to side with Isaac Thompson to win this fight. The co-main event, we have Hayward Charles and Multibek Orobai. Charles is 18-14, so he has a ton of fights, so much experience, and he's a very dangerous submission threat. He has finished 17 of 18 wins, which is crazy, and 16 of them are submissions. So, we know what to look out for against Hayward Charles, right? Or you should at this point. He went 3 rounds with Ian Heinisch, almost went 3 rounds with Kevin Holland. He's fought against Evan Cutts. He's fought some decent guys, and he's a submission specialist who's made the walk a ton of times. And he's coming up against Multibek Orobai, who is a prospect that personally I'm high on. He's 10-1-1, 9 finishes and 10 wins. So this is another guy that knows how to get guys out of there inside the distance. And his 1 loss came to Khalid Sachuev, who is currently 13-0. Looks like a very promising prospect in his own right. And Orobai is now 2-0 since coming to the States and fighting with LFA. He beat Jalen Fuller and Glacio Eliziario. He is 25 years old, and he's also out at Team Alpha Male, it looks out, with Slava Borshev, Chris Gonzalez, Uriah Faber. I think that similar to Isaac Thompson, he is going to pass this test here. Hayward Charles is definitely going to bring a challenge to him, but Orobai is a good grappler. I think he can neutralize that submission threat and find a finish in this one. Obviously, the bookmakers agree. Orobai is like minus 1,300 or something like that, so not really something that you're probably going to be betting on, but it should be fun just to see how he does in this matchup against an interesting style matchup here. So, but yeah, I'm going to be signing with Multibek Orobai to get the win in this co-main event. The main event of this card is a very good fight between Haris Talundzic and Daniel Frunza. Talundzic is a pound-for-pound Muay Thai and Elevation Fight Team product out of Denver by way of Bosnia. I believe he's worked with Factory X a little bit in the past as well. And I know that he grew up wrestling in Nebraska, and he was very highly ranked within the state. Had a lot of success there, and now as a professional MMA fighter, he is 6-1 with 3 submissions, all of them coming by rear naked choke. He's got a good, well-rounded game. He's a very dangerous grappler in the first round. He won his last fight, although it was a little bit sketchy. He got dropped a few times, and that's definitely not a good look coming into a fight with Frenza, who has a lot of power on the feet. Before that fight, he lost to Chris Brown, and Chris Brown is a very tricky striker. Talundzic seemed to kind of struggle with the distance a little bit in that one. He was able to find a couple good 1-2s and generally hold his own, but he also just could not really get to the hips to get his wrestling involved early. He ended up getting taken down himself twice in that first round, and he finished at 1 for 6 on takedowns in that fight. Personally, I don't love the striking defense. It's not bad, but he leaves some openings and can be hit. Daniel Frunza is a Romanian fighting out of Miami. I believe he shares a camp with Damon Blackshear. He has cornered him before in the UFC. He's 7-2 as a pro with 6 knockouts. Knocked out Jalen Fuller in his last fight. That was a big statement win. And yeah, man, on the feet, this guy's a real problem. He's aggressive. He comes forward. He brings a ton of pressure. And it does kind of make me worry about Talundzic's chin a little bit, to be honest, in this fight. Frenza definitely could starch him. I don't really think Talundzic is super durable. We've seen him get dropped in his last fight. But the thing is that Frenza has just shown a grappling deficiency in the past. Both of his losses came the same way, by rear naked choke. Talundzic has 3 of those on his resume. He's shown the ability to get to that position in multiple fights and close the show from there. So Talundzic is going to have to stay safe on the feet here because Frenza is going to bring a lot of danger, but I think he can find a way to get to that position again on Friday and find a finish here. So I think that this fight is not going to go the full distance here. I think that one of these guys is going to find the finish early. I think it should be a really fun fight, and these are 2 really solid prospects. And, with a win here, they're going to be looking at maybe a short notice call, maybe a call from the Contender Series or something like that. So I think that there's going to be pretty pretty sizable implications in the regional MMA world for this one, and it should be a good fight. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in to this video. I really appreciate it, and as always, I will catch you on the next one.